Okay, so hi everyone, my name is Mr. Loveno and I am one of the instructional technology specialists for Mainer. And my job here in Mainer is to assist teachers with integration of tech, a lot like this project, helping you with projects like this and maybe even coming up with ideas. But also one of the cool things about my job is that I get to work with students. I taught middle school for 11 years. So my favorite group of kids is you guys. So I enjoy y'all. Um, so I know you're coming up, you're starting a project on GarageBand. You're going to create an audiobook, and GarageBand is perfect for that because it allows you to do multiple things, not just your voice recording, but also sound effects, music, whatever you need to do. So in the video, I go through, step by step on a lot of stuff, but what I'm going to do now is I'm going to kind of shoot forward to maybe a good way for you to start your project and skip a lot of that other stuff that was in the video. So I'm going to go ahead and open up GarageBand. I am going to create a new song. And as always, GarageBand is always going to start off with thinking you're going to make a song or record music. So it might be on strings, it might be on something else, but just swipe around till you find audio recorder, because for your project, that is going to be one of the biggest, most important pieces. So we're going to select voice. Now, in here, automatically, it's going to put the microphone there. It's going to put the microphone settings and all that, again, by default. It's just going to do it every single time. One thing to keep in mind is that GarageBand allows you to have multiple microphones. Right now, the microphone that we're using is lead vocals. We're not singing. Unless you guys are going to sing, then you can use a mic like this, but we're not singing at this point, so we want to change it. So where it says lead vocals, we're just going to touch that one time, scroll down, and select narrator, and then done. And what that does, it puts a microphone in that's going to be better for recording our voice rather than, all the thing around us or all things around us. So that's the first thing you need to do. Next, what we're going to do is we're going to turn off these settings right here where it shows the settings for our microphone by selecting track view. And it's up here, the third button on the left, top left, touch that. It puts those things away so we only see our microphone. So we're going to do our little setup for our project. So first thing I want you guys to do, and it's a good idea for me, I like to do this, is on my microphone, I'm going to swipe right on it, press and hold, swipe right. And what that does, it reveals our volume controls and of course the little headphones, which basically isolate so you could only hear that track, that microphone. And then you have a mute button, which helps later on in our project. All right, next thing we're going to do is metronome. So metronome sounds like this. That's cool if we're making a song and we want to keep a beat. But in our case, we're really not doing that right now. So we're going to turn that off. And to turn it off, you just push it one time, turns white, and now the metronome is off. It's still going to count, or you're still going to hear it when you're going to record, just kind of like a countdown for you, but that's okay. All right, so last thing we're going to do is extend the project, because right now our project's only going to be 8 measures, and in music, that's basically about 24 seconds or so. So what we're going to do is we're going to hit the little plus sign on the right, and we're just going to add more bars, more time to our project so we don't get cut off. We can set it to automatic, but that still kind of limits you. So I'm just going to add a bunch of lines. 42 is fine. You can kind of randomly select something. Automatically, your project gets huge. We're going to use our fingers to pinch to zoom. We're just going to zoom back to kind of where we were. And it's just because it's easier to manage your project. All right, so how do you know where you are in your project? Is this little arrow right here. And this one is basically wherever this marker is, that's where you're recording and that's where you're playing whatever you're playing. So just make sure when you're recording, this is exactly where you want it to be. So right now I'm going to move it to the beginning. All right, next thing is it's very important that you label your microphones. So right now this microphone is called narrator. That's cool, but it might be generic. So what we're going to do is we're going to touch the microphone once. And then what we're going to do is we're going to select rename. I'm going to rename this And because it's me, I'm just going to go ahead and call it Mr. Luovano. All right, and hit return on your keyboard. And boom, now my microphone is labeled as Mr. Luovano, right? But this project will require more than one microphone, so we're going to do several. Rather than go and hit this plus sign down here and start over and grab another one, because we could do that and then go through this. I'm going to show you guys a shortcut. You're going to tap once on the microphone. And now instead of renaming, we're going to duplicate. So we're going to duplicate and we're going to grab the second one, duplicate again, grab the second one, duplicate again. And you could do this as many times as you need for microphones. Okay. And it keeps the same settings and you don't have to go in there and change the microphone anymore. What you do have to change though is the name. So on that second one that says Mr. Luovano, I'm going to tap it again, hit rename, and just change the name to, I don't know, we'll just put like audio 1. And then go to my next one, rename that one as well, audio 2. And then my last one, rename. And it really just depends on what you guys are doing. I'm just randomly using audio 1, 2, 3. And that just helps me identify where everything is or when you start recording. Okay, now we're ready to record. all of this is set up. Now we're ready to record. Now, how do I know which microphone I'm using? Well, basically you'll see it in kind of like a light gray color. If it's dark, you're not using it. If it's light gray, you're using it. You also see this little green equalizer audio lines moving around. I want to use Mr. Luovano, so I'm going to go ahead and touch that first microphone. I'm ready to use it, so I'm ready to record. So I'm going to go ahead and record my introduction to my little project. Here we go. Hi, my name is Mr. Luovano, and today we are going to be discussing the GarageBand. All right, so I messed up there, which is fine. If that happened, of course, you could delete it and start over. And you ask, oh, how do I delete it? Well, to delete a track, you touch the blue line, right? You touch it once, touch it again, you get a menu, you can hit delete, and it goes away. All right, so let's try that again. Hi, this is Mr. Luovano, and today we are going to be discussing GarageBand. All right, so there I have my recording. So now I can go to my next track and record something else. But before you do that, it is very important. I'm going to go back to track view real quick. It is very important that if you have multiple recordings, I suggest that you mute them before you record the next one. So before I record my second piece, which is going to be maybe the body of my project, I'm going to go ahead and hit the mute button on Mr. Luovano, just so I know it's not going to interfere with my new recording. All right, so cool. Now I can go ahead and record my second piece. GarageBand is a wonderful product. Man, okay, I messed up. Easy thing you can do is hit undo right there. Done this too many times today, I think. All right, let's try this again. Great thing about GarageBand is that it works on all iOS devices like iPads, iPhones, and MacBooks. All right, so there's my second little recording. Go back to track view. Now I could record maybe, let's say in this project, I have someone asking me a question. It could be me. I'm gonna just ask the question myself and I'll show you guys how to change the voice. But I'm gonna go ahead and select my third microphone, which is audio 2. Now, before I record, remember, mute your other recordings. There we go. So I'm gonna hit record. So does GarageBand work on Android devices? Stop, mute. Last thing I need to do, record answering the question. Unfortunately, GarageBand only works on iOS devices. All right, so there. So I have a little project kind of coming together. I'm gonna go back to track view. All right, even though all my audio tracks are on the same kind of area, I'm gonna unmute all of them. Of course, if I play So you hear all of them, but you don't want to do that. So what you're going to do is you're going to pinch, you're going to kind of zoom out, and you're going to move them around. So I have my introduction, and I'm going to grab this one and move it here. Then I'm going to grab my question and move it here. Grab my third one, answers, and move it there. So you have that freedom. And that's why I like using multiple tracks, because you can move them around and build exactly the way you want to build it. All right, so we kind of have
This is Mr.
things working around. Now, one thing I do want to talk about is waveforms. And what I mean by waveforms, audio waveforms, are these little things right here. Every track has these little white mountains, and each of those white mountains means sound is coming into the iPad. But it also has all this blank space. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you how to remove that blank space in a real easy way. So I'm going to zoom out a little bit for this. All right, to basically edit and remove the blank space, tap once on your track. And what happens, you'll notice these little white bars or handles come out at the end, which allow you to shrink your tracks and grow them, but basically fix it and fine tune the ends and the beginning. So here's the beginning. I'm going to press and hold that handle. It zooms in automatically for me. And now I'm going to get as close to the waveform as possible. Boom. All right, I'm going to do the same thing at the end. I'm going to get as close to where it ends, which is about there. All right, so now I have that clip. Rather than it starting with blank space, now when I start it, it starts off with my voice, okay? Next, another type of edit. This audio track here, on purpose, what I did is I delayed my answer. So
iPads, iPhones, and Mac.
So that little gap where it says iPads, iPhones, and then blank, nothing, and then MacBooks, I did that on purpose so I could show you guys how to clip a piece in there and fix it. And the reason I'm showing you guys this is because when you're recording audio, you may mess up, and you could just, instead of hitting stop, you could just start in that section again, because you can go back and fix it, save yourself some time, or just start over. Depends how long it is. But in this case, I'm going to show you guys how to fix that. So there's my blank area where I was saying
iPads, iPhones, and Mac.
So I want to get rid of that blank spot. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to move my marker to about the middle of that blank area, tap on my track, and you guys see one of the options there is split. And basically split will open up my scissors, which allows me to cut, right? So I'm going to press and hold, swipe down, and that's it. Now I have two separate audio tracks with that blank space. Now, using the same method we did earlier to remove blank space, I'm going to touch the track, grab the handle, press and hold, and shrink. And then I'm going to go to my other one, press and hold, shrink. Now I move it closer to the other one. So now when I hit play,
iPhones and MacBooks,
there's no more delay. I edited what I made a mistake on. I fixed it to now that they're both, will work a little easier and it sounds better. And those are some editing tips right there. We did our handle move, and we also did the slice and handle move. And now we got those clips together. All right, next thing. And if I'm moving fast, I apologize. I am recording this one. I'll post it to your Echo. Push play.
So does GarageBand work on?
So you can tell that it's me asking myself a question. So if I want to change that, let's say you're in a group of 4 people, but only one of them can use their voice. You can change the voice of people. This could get silly, but bear with me. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and touch that track. Now I'm going to change into microphone view, which is the settings right here. Which here I can, change the the tone if I want to make myself sound deeper, a little bit lighter. But I could also go to fun. And then this is kind of silly, but I'm going to go to chipmunk rather than me sounding fully chipmunk, because that's just crazy. You won't understand it. I'm going to change where it says size. I'm going to change that a little bit, and also pitch. So let's see what that sounds like.
GarageBand work on Android devices?
Unfortunately,
Try to
So
get
does GarageBand work on Android devices? Does GarageBand work on Android devices?
So not perfect, but what I did is I changed my voice. So now that, when you're hearing my podcast, it'll kind of sound like a different person. Now I'm recording in a room with a little fan going on, so it's not going to be the
and
greatest
MacBooks.
sound.
So does GarageBand work on Android devices?
Unfortunately, GarageBand only.
So you can start creating characters, you can start creating different things using some of those effects. You could also go in there and instead of using Chipmunk, you can just change the microphone to maybe a different one, and you're going to get some different effects, and you can change some of that stuff. I don't recommend you do that too much unless you have the time to do it. But in this case, we're not going to do that. And go back. But that's kind of changing some of the audio. All right. So we've edited, we've done different things. Now we're going to add sounds or sound effects and music. All right. Any questions before I move forward?
No, nope, not yet. Thank you.
Okay. So with your project, if you want to use music, you can add music that's built into GarageBand. I don't recommend that you use music that's popular music out there that you guys can listen to on YouTube or iTunes or things like that, because you will violate copyright with a lot of that. So be aware of that. So GarageBand, up on the top right, you have this little roller coaster loop. And in there, you have a lot of pre-built sounds that you can use. And these are just, music. Beats and let's find them. All right, so basically you tap to play, tap to stop. Let's say I want to use atmosphere beat. I'm going to press and hold it, drag it. Now, very important that you don't drag it in here. Drag it on the bottom under everything, because then it won't interfere with your other recordings. All right, so I dragged it in. Now there it is. Now this is a loop. So I'm going to zoom in for this. This is a loop. So if you see these little triangles, it's hard to see, but you see it kind of like a little indentation. That means that's where the sound ends and begins. So you can remove everything after that and it won't really affect the sound. What I mean is anytime you add music, it adds it to your entire project. So that could be messy. So I'm going to tap that track and then I'm going to grab the right handle, and I did it last time too. And I'm going to drag it in to that triangle. All right. So now I added some music, but it's not interfering with my entire project. I can move, my intro to maybe here. And I could move these around here. And so on. So now when my music plays.
Hi, this is Mr. Lovano.
And it starts my project. Now, I can work with you guys to do some more editing where you can lower the volume on the music. That's real tricky to show here, but it's something you can do if you want your song to go through the whole thing and just want to lower the volume on it and then add another one. You can do that in several different ways, but I could show you guys and work with you on that individually or as a group later on. But right now, that's what I have, the tracks there. I have my music. So it's cool. I could even shrink the track. Let me move it a little more. I could shrink the track to where it stops playing when I start talking. So.
Hi, this is Mr. Lovano, and today we're going to.
So on. So that's how you add built-in sounds. Now, last piece is recording your own sound effects. To do this, we're going to add a new instrument. And that new instrument is going to be a recorder. So we're going to go here, swipe to the right, and it's basically called a sampler. And this is what a lot of popular music uses. They'll go around, get a sample, and then they mix it and make it a beat or something. Same thing with this. I'm going to go ahead and select sampler, and you get this machine that basically records. That's all it does. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to record in the video. I did a knock. So I'm going to go ahead and do the same thing, a knock. So I'm going to hit start and knock. So there it is. There's my knock, but it doesn't add it to your project. What it does, it adds it to the sampler. And now the sampler, you play it with your keys. You play the keys on the keyboard and it plays the knock. So you can have a lot of fun with it if you want to. Deep knock, high knock, really high knock, really fast. You can change it around till you have something you like. But when you're ready to record, and go ahead and move my marker maybe to the end over here. Hit record. Hit stop. Go back to my view. Now I have that knock that I can move around. And anytime you use sound effects, they look like this. Or if you play an instrument, they look like this. They're green. So I could add a knock anywhere. So I could add a knock there if I wanted to. So whatever sound effect you worked or recorded, you can do that. So when a student earlier asked me, can I play something on YouTube and record it like a sound? Yeah, totally. You can totally use your phone, push play and make it loud so that your recorder records it, and then you can put it into your project. So there's several ways you can do that. But that's kind of an overview of hopefully how to get you started with your project, to get you where you need to get, I guess, to get started and build something. But once you have that, then you can reach out to me via your teacher. And I could definitely meet as a Zoom group or answer your questions via email or whatever you need to do. But I am here to help y'all. Any questions at this point or anything else we need to cover?
There was a question. How do you, I think it was get rid of or maybe make the background noise quieter?
Okay, perfect. So every track, you can get rid of a track or you could even lower the volume on it. And that's why I opened those volume controls on the left. So let's say that music, if I touch the drums there, you have a little volume control, which is right here. So you just lower the volume on it. But let's say I don't want this question anymore. I didn't like it. I want to get rid of it. I can click on it, or I'm sorry, touch it one more time, hit delete, and it's gone. All right. Let's say if you did it by accident, remember, you do have an undo button up there, which brings it back. But yeah, everything is very, you can control everything on your screen. So don't worry about, doing too much or doing too little. It's easy for you to move things around. Press and hold, move them around. You could even put, if they're the same type of instrument, you could put them on the same line. So let's say I want to save space and my answer to the question, I can just put it back up here if I wanted to, and then use this track for something else to record something new. But you have full control of moving things around and basically making it look and sound the way you want it to.
Does anyone else have any questions? All right, I don't think they have any questions for you.
Sweet.
Awesome. Thank you, Mr. Lovano.
Okay, thank you. I'll share this video so you guys can refer to it again.
Okay.
I didn't record the others, but I recorded this one.
Sounds good. Thank you.
All right. Okay. All right. Bye.
Bye.